Following on from my previous videos, I'll show you how to combine the two simple techniques you've learned into making more decorative, dangly, ruler-based earrings. I took a simple folding ruler and removed one or two sections. Chose a good length, in this case about 5 centimeters for each earring, and then cut them out. Here we have the pieces I removed. Now if you use a very fine saw, this is a modelling saw with very fine teeth, you won't get too many splinters. These are cheaply available from modelling shops and online. I've already sanded the edges to make sure there are no splinters and checked them, but a simple pass with some sandpaper will remove any splinters, and as long as you check, then there should be no scratches or rough edges to catch on yours or your friends or clients' necks. E6000 we talked about previously, and these are the tools that I will use. I have two pairs of pliers. These are visually different but perform very similar functions. These ones have no teeth on the inside, so will mark less, whereas these ones are the ones you've seen previously and have a finer tip to grip with. I will use these only to open and close the jump rings. These snips were used to remove the loops from these bumblebees. I misspoke there. These are charms, and I chose them because being silver they'll give a lovely contrast against the bronze coloured backing. However, they do come with loops. I simply removed with the snips and then used the file to take away any sharp edges. Making jewellery requires a high standard of finish, not just for looks, but to prevent injuries to your clients or friends or yourself. These will be dangling against the very thin skin of somebody's neck, and a sharp edge could cause irritation or cut somebody, which would be disastrous for yours and their feelings, but potentially financially as well if they decide that they were injured enough for this matter to come to court. In the original pendant video, we assembled this pendant from two charm cogs, a bail and a wooden game piece. So using the same techniques, we'll take these two ruler sections and the bails, glue them on the reverse in the same manner as we did with the game pieces, and then add the cogs and the bumblebees to form a pleasing pattern for your friends or customers to display. One of the design notes I have for this is to make sure that when you assemble them with the numbers either ascending or descending, which is just personal preference. However, if one goes up and one goes down, somebody will notice and they'll question it. Attention to detail again is very important when making jewellery. It's always on show, and it shows your personal standards and the standards that you are willing to show to others. The cogs I've chosen to be of a size with these ruler sections, slightly smaller, so that gives me a chance to arrange them. I could arrange on the centre line, off centre, the larger cog I've chosen so that some of the features of the cog are still on display even when the bumblebee is mounted upon the top of it. The bail, as before, will go behind. The jump ring is not merely to connect the earring wire to the bail. It acts to change the orientation of the dangle by 90 degrees. If this was on here directly, then the earring would either be pointing into or out of your neck and not on display. You want these to be facing forward. So by adding the jump ring, the wire will go into the ear, but the jump ring allows this to face forward towards the viewer. The choice of the size of jump ring is a design choice. Jump rings do have differing mechanical strengths. However, that is not normally an issue when arranging things like earrings. We are doing an industrial size design, so a more chunky feel is well within the design remit. However, I could have used a much smaller jump ring down within limits to the size of the bail. Now I will assemble these just once on camera, just to show you again. Get my application stick and use very small amounts of the E6000 sparingly applied. Now I quite like the off-center look for these, so I will align this cog so it's parallel to the base and one side but overhanging the other side. And as with last time, a good squeeze gets rid of the air from these already flat surfaces, and that glue has a good tack. Now I have quite a lot of glue that's squeezed out there, so at this point I'm going to use that excess to get into the body of the bee. The back of this bee is not perfectly flat. However, as I've stated earlier, more glue does not make more strength. So I will lay and I will adjust the position, push it down, and I think that's fine. This cog has a face and a back, so making sure I glue the back. For this cog, I will keep it entirely within the ruler. Take another small dab of glue. This cog is double-sided. However, one side has to have the glue. And there you go. So that is the arrangement of the pieces. The bail. Centralised and at 90 degrees to the dangle of the earring, even though it may not be entirely centralised on the back. I'm going to move that over and twist it very slightly. And there you go. That's the first dangle assembled. Once again, glue, sparingly applied with pressure, but mirroring the first one now, so it's aligned with the bottom but the mirror edge of the other earring, and push down. A little bit more generous with the glue due to the indents on the back of this bumblebee. Facing the opposite way to form a mirror. Sparingly applied to the back of this piece, which has the definite front and back. Again, mirroring the position of the first. However, you could take a moment to align any of the details. But a slight variation can sometimes add more interest, make it slightly more visually appealing. So they're obviously a pair, but they're not identical. And in the real world, things rarely are identical. And let's bring this one in a little bit further. So press down, press down, press down. Sticky stuff on the bail. Centralise and square it up. So cap quickly back on the glue now that I've finished using it. And place it to one side. And those are the almost finished pieces of jewellery. Now I particularly like these. I think the silver adds a lovely contrast, and the quirky use of the ruler with the cog charms adds a lot of interest. Let's talk about jump rings. Jump rings come in all shapes and sizes. They form a design choice rather than a mechanical choice, and they are simply opened by twisting and never pulling. So you hold your jump ring between two pairs of pliers and open. If you have enough strength in your hand, you can do this with your hands. However, it never goes back perfectly. Use the pliers for best effect. To close the jump ring, it's simply the reverse. And there you go. These jump rings have been added not for strength, but partly because the size of the bail means that the loop on these earring wires is too small to directly go round. So that dictates a slightly larger jump ring. However, they also act to turn the earrings by 90 degrees. You want these to be seen. If I fitted the earring like this, then obviously the earrings would just face into the neck. If I fitted it that way round, that would be better. They'd be facing out from the neck but towards the sides. If I place a jump ring between the two, it has the effect of turning the mount by 90 degrees. These means these earrings, as long as you put those wires on, one to the left and one to the right, will face forward for maximum effect, and they will dangle down to the side of the chin line and everybody will be able to see them nicely. So I'll wait for my glue to dry and finish them off camera. Thanks very much for watching.